What's up, you guys? It's Mindful Monday, and you are watching Erin Method TV. I'm actually sitting in a swivel chair, so if you see me going like this, that's what's going on. But I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. Welcome, welcome. And today I'm covering a topic that's super dear in my heart because I'm actually writing a book about it at the moment. But it's all about reconnecting to yourself. And that can sound a little bit esoteric if we don't break it down. But I just want to begin by talking a little bit about my own story and why reconnection and reconnecting to myself and working with clients and people about how to reconnect with themselves, why it's so important and near in my heart. And the truth of the matter is, I always had a feeling deep inside my whole life of what I was meant to do, but I didn't really have a way to express that or communicate that. I didn't really know how to talk about it. I just remember I would think about my life and my future and where I was going after high school and then where I was going after college. And all I can really say is that I would get a feeling, but in terms of knowing how to take action towards that feeling, it was really difficult for me. And so I just went to college and I picked the major that seemed the easiest in terms of the most aligned with what I was wanting, even though there was really no box that really encompassed what I wanted to be doing in the world. Looking back, if I knew now what I knew, if I knew then what I know now, it may have been a little bit easier, but that wasn't the case. So my journey and my adventure through life has everything to do with me getting more and more clear about who I am and who I want to be and how I want to show up in the world. And the way that I've done that is by reconnecting to the divine wisdom and the divine intelligence and the divine knowing and the passion and the dream that lives in my soul. And I only knew to do that because I got really, really lost. And I went through a very dark period of my life where that was not the case. I was not connected to that dream. I was not connected to that essence of who I truly am. And so I won't get into that whole story now because we don't have all day. But I will just say that the way in which I began to heal, and I'll kind of explain, when we're not connected to ourselves, it can look a lot of different ways. It can show up in our eating patterns and our relationship with food. It can show up in our physical bodies and, yo-yo dieting and binge eating or, addictions or substance abuse. It can just show up in all kinds of ways of where we're just over consuming and we're reaching outside of ourselves like desperately. It might not look desperate to the outside world, right? But desperately reaching outside of ourselves for the answer, for the solution, for somebody to save us, for somebody to show us how to get from where we are to where we want to be. And what I found was that ultimately, yes, I had lots of teachers, and yes, I had lots of guides, and yes, I had specific tools and specific processes that I went through on a daily basis to get from where I was to where I am and where I wanted to be. And I continue to do this every single day of my life. But a big part of that was learning how to reconnect to myself. And the further and further along I get in my journey, the more I realize how I can acknowledge and be in awe of my teachers. I can see people who inspire me, and there are people that I learn from all the time, and people who can offer extremely potent suggestion to where I am in regards to where I want to be and where I'm heading. And at the end of the day, it always comes back to my own divine knowing, right? We have to be able to make that decision for ourselves. We have to be able to be 100% responsible for the life that we are creating. So to speak a little bit about that, as we reconnect to ourselves, what starts to happen is that we start to regain a sense of confidence that we didn't have before. So we start to tune in, we start to get to know the inner world, our inner terrain, how to read our emotions, so we're sort of controlled by our emotions, and we're kind of, washed around by our emotions. But when we begin to learn that there's actually a deep wisdom in our emotion, that there's a deep message in our emotion, then every little thing that happens and all of these ebbs and flows of things that we feel throughout our day becomes information. And learning to really connect with that part of ourselves that actually knows the answer, where there's like this well of like this source inside of us where the solution emerges from. That's when we really start to feel more in control of our life. And that's when we start to experience that level of confidence that we didn't have before we were really connected to ourselves. And so as we gain that confidence, what starts to happen from there is we start to experience a form of courage that we didn't have before, because we now feel connected. We now have an anchor inside of ourselves where, as you can see, that would create a level of security, that if we're dependent on things outside of ourselves, there's really never a sense of security, because we can't control what's going on outside of us. So even though this is kind of an unconscious insecurity, the reason why we have that insecurity is because we can't control things outside of us. So getting to know ourselves so deeply that we have such an anchor that we can continue to forge ahead regardless of what's happening, because everything is just information for us. So as we get that connection inside, we move into that confidence, and then we move into that courage. And then with that courage and that confidence and that connection, we're able to just try things, do it. And if it fails, it's okay. Keep going, keep ebbing, keep flowing, keep trying, not giving up. And through that process, we get clarity. We actually find out what it is that wants to be birthed through us. We find our voice. We find the medium. We find the people, the tribe. It comes. The clarity comes. And it does. It takes time and it takes work, but it's a fun process. I like to think of it as an adventure, a reconnection adventure. So once we have that, right, once we get that clarity, then we get to be creative, right? Because we've got the connection, we've got the anchor, we know who we are, we know that the things that are happening outside of us are just information, and we start to learn how to process that and digest that and break it down and learn from it. And then we get that confidence, and then we have that courage to move forward, and then we get that clarity, and then we can just play. We can play in the realm of that clarity and just start to learn our creativity. And with that, learning our creativity, we have to be able to have those other things, because creativity is so unique and it's so bio-individual, and it's so sacred. And every single one of us have our own unique form of creativity. And there's so much that we can learn from, but at the end of the day, we've got to find our own unique expression of that creativity. So I'm here today to just honor you and honor your journey, and to share this part of my journey with you about the power of really coming back to that connection within ourselves, to really being able to tap into that source, that place inside of us that is the life that breathes our confidence and our courage and our clarity and our creativity, so that we can move forward and create the life and the business and the love that we really, really, truly want. So wherever in your life you might be doubting yourself, wherever in your life you may feel like you're never going to get there, it's not too late. You can start right this minute by reconnecting with yourself. And sometimes all it takes is just a moment. Just close your eyes down. Before I shot this video, I thought I had one idea and it wasn't really vibing. And I thought, let me just close my eyes. Let me just reconnect. Let me just ask the source within me what wants to come through today. And then let me play with that creativity. And here we are. Here's this video, and I didn't even plan it. So I'm really, really excited to hear what comes through you when you do that, when you reconnect to yourself. And I'd love to answer any questions you have about this process. And I'd love to hear your experiences with connecting to source, connecting to that deeper love and wisdom within yourself and what happens when you do that. So please share that with us here. If you like this video, I would be so grateful if you would share it with a friend or pass it around on social media. And better yet, if you could subscribe to my channel. The more people we've got going on here, the more this channel can grow, and the more I can do this work that I love so much and connect with you guys. And engaging with you makes this work even more potent and even more powerful. So I would love to hear from you, because you really matter. You make such a difference, and I love hearing from you. So please leave your comments here below and send your feedback, send your questions. You guys have an awesome day, and thank you so much for coming to Erin Lanahan Method TV. Thanks for being here with me. I look forward to our next adventure together. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.